Hello everyone, Alchemist here with another build video. This time it's involving the newly buffed exotic Foetracer. This is an amazing exotic for those that would like to partake in the potential power that it possesses. The Foetracer's exotic works when dealing damage to a major or boss with ability damage. It grants the player 4 stacks of a weapon surge damage buff, which is a whopping 24% damage for what you were going to do anyways. This is already a powerful bonus to have, however, this damage can be further upscaled with the Void debuff. Through the use of the Void Fragment Echo of Undermining, we could use our grenade to weaken our targets. Weaken provides a 30% debuff to targets, making our damage potential much higher than it was before. In total, just with 2 buffs that work synchronously within each other, we have already got ourselves a whopping 54% damage bonus. We are going to push this act even further with Monochromatic Maestro, giving us an additional 10% damage bonus. We are already at 64 damage bonus to majors and enemies and at least 40% for everything else in the game. But we have a perfect candidate for such an addition. The Wavesplitter is an exotic trace rifle that has gotten a buff not too long ago, which allows the ability Supercharged Battery to provide the weapon a 68.7, basically 69, damage buff if we get an Orb of Power, and on top of that, the ability to suppress enemies with continuous fire. This means that if everything is lined up perfectly, that means you can get a 134 damage increase after everything is calculated. This allows for crazy fast melts of majors, and on top of that, can destroy unstoppable champions due to its powerful suppression effect. But with that said, here comes the Fragment and Armor Breakdown. Alright, so this is the Fragment Breakdown for the Foetracer. For now, we're using Gambler's Dodge because it allows us to get our melee faster and recharge it completely. Choose whatever jump you want, it's as usual. Snare Bomb is that when we throw a smoke bomb, we attach it on surfaces, which pings, but we also want it for its weaken effect, so we could also use that while our Vortex Grenade is on cooldown. So that means that when our grenade creates a vortex, it'll have some larger area of effect, and it will continually damage those that's inside. So you could tag a boss, and anyone near there, or any enemy that's nearby, will probably die as well. As for aspects, we got Stylish Executioner, which is defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target, grants invisibility and true sight. After performing a Stylish Execution, my next melee attack while invisible will weaken targets. Next up is Vanishing Step. It just makes us, when we dodge, it makes us invisible. And that's pretty easy. We just want it as an emergency button as well, and it will also gain us our melee charge so that we can get our combo going with Foetracer. So, for our fragments, we have Echo of Starvation, picking up a Void Breach or an Orb of Power, grants Devour. We will be using both of these very often, and it will allow us to have our ability uptime much faster as well with Void Breaches. Next up is Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grant volatile rounds. This is just extra DPS for our main weapon, this Wavesplitter. And volatile rounds can clear out ads extremely easy, making the level of pressure on our ammo economy much easier to deal with. Next up is Echo of Undermining, our top player here, our MVP. Basically, our Void grenades also weaken targets. And then we have Echo of Cessation, which means that our finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile. And defeating volatile targets creates a void breach for us, which also feeds into our first fragment as well. Next up, we got our armor pieces. Actually, we can go to the thing. Next up, we have this. So for our Foetracer, we have triple harmonic siphon, much easier. I don't have it maxed out yet, but I don't want to farm for anything. But yep, sue me. Next up is firepower and grenade kickstart. So with grenade kickstart, when we have everything going on, we throw a grenade. It takes us additional grenade energy. And we could choose whether to use it because we're not using any Void Surges in this build, so we don't have to worry about managing our armor charges effectively. Next up is Triple Charge Up. This increases the amount of stacks on our armor charge we can carry by 1, making us being able to use 6 in total. Next up is innervation. You could pick your poison. You could choose insulation if you feel like it as well to lower our cooldown even faster and provide the loop. But I prefer innervation to increase our cooldowns even faster because we are producing a lot of orbs with this build. And the most important part, we have Bomber, Reaper, and our top MVP special finisher. This will allow you to use double special and not have any pressure about it because how trace rifles are they're extremely ammo efficient. So you can consume 3 stacks of armor charge and then go back into it. Then use a grenade, consume your other 3 stacks, and by the time you kill out a whole, clear out a whole room of enemies, you should be able to get your armor charge back, no problem. Bomber is just there so that when you dodge, you just get that cooldown even faster. But yeah, that's all for the build. For stats, I recommend that you go Resilience Discipline. This is just to increase our grenade uptime. This is just to keep us alive more, though with Void, it's not really a pressure to keep yourself alive, as you have an emergency panic button called Dodge, which makes you invisible. We also have mobility fairly high as well, so we can keep our uptime low on the dodge. But other than that, that is it for the build. I hope you enjoy it. Tell me what you feel about it in the comments. I know we have a lot of alternate solar builds out there, but, you know, I think that Void is also pretty fun as well, and I think you should give it a shot.